Welcome to Strategical Art episode 2, and this episode is all about planning. My name is Armand, and today I'm going to go through a few ideas about why we have to plan things, why it's important to plan. Also, going to talk about why some people don't need to plan anything, and then I'm going to talk about the plan and why the plan is how it is for the continuation of the series, and what I'm going to be creating, and what you'll be looking out in the upcoming episodes after this one, as opposed to a lovely white blank page. Now, first of all, why do we plan things? Uh, Planning, I think, is probably the most important, the most undervalued, and potentially also the thing that you should be spending the most time in when you create any piece of art. Now, in planning, I then encompass work before you do anything, mood boarding, thumbnailing, concept on that. Today, we're going to just specifically talk about creating a brief for yourself and why you should do some work before you actually start creating anything, even just a mood board, why you should do that, and how that can benefit you. Now, first of all, the most obvious reason I think to plan your work and lay it all out before you start anything is to give yourself a structure. Um, what planning is going to do is it'll allow you to kind of set up a framework for yourself. You will have an understanding of exactly what you need to do. And it's also good when you do client work, that kind of thing, because it can allow you to kind of figure out how much time it will take. So the most basic level, that is why you should plan to give ourselves the structure of this is what I'm doing then, and this is how I'm going to get there, and this is everything in between, to prevent yourself from going halfway through a painting, not being sure where it's going and getting lost. Now, that to me is very important, but it's also the most basic level of why planning is important. If that was only the only reason why we would need to plan, yes, we would have to plan when we first started with a new pipeline or doing a new type of work or whatever. However, if that was the only reason, we would then shortly be able to just skip that and do it because we would understand our workflow very well. Now, what I think is the most important reason to plan is exploring your idea. And an example for this is you have this idea, and I'm very, very guilty of this. I do this a lot. Is you have this idea, say, I'm going to draw a dragon. Okay, we're drawing a dragon. And then you just start drawing a dragon, and it's just a dragon. And there's nothing unique about it. It doesn't have its own selling point. It doesn't have any characteristics, blah, blah. Unless you're very, very, very good, unless you're absolutely outstanding, and you might be, and that'd be great, that dragon, to anyone else to gain attention, to get you anywhere else you need to be, it's not going to get you anything in terms of attention or improvement or reducing portfolio. What it also won't do, if you're just drawing things you already know how to draw and that kind of thing, is it's not going to help you improve your skill because you're going into without thought, and learning without thought isn't going to teach you how to learn. So there's two things there that we can get past and improve by planning an idea. And it doesn't have to take long. It can take 5 minutes at the start before you do anything. Is just identifying first. You have the idea, okay, it's a dragon. Think about more. What's his name? I don't know. Say it's Jim the Dragon. Got Jim. He's a dragon. What does Jim like? Jim, he likes, I don't know, he likes trees. He wants to eat trees. That's what he does. Doesn't like eating cows. Jim, he's a vegan dragon. Okay, there we go. A vegan dragon. And you can kind of build, just pick up ideas, jot them down, remove what you don't like, keep what you like, keep it simple. We're going throughout the creative brief and how to plan on that slightly later in this video, and then you get through. Uh, and that's kind of how you can make your character or whatever you're drawing a bit more unique through your planning. And you can also explore the idea more instead of just sticking to your first thing. Before you even start sketching, you got an idea. And there's nothing stopping you from having multiple ideas and sketching all of them, but this kind of helps you find a personality for your piece before you work on it. The second reason and the idea about learning is if you set out a piece and the point of the piece is for you to learn something, if you don't know what it is you want to learn, then you're just tossing a coin to see if you're going to learn that piece or not. Now, some things is more likely than others, but if you want to learn human anatomy, you just start drawing and you end up drawing a dragon with not a single human feature in it. Yes, there's skill you can absolutely get from that, and there's thing you can transfer, but that doesn't serve your purpose. So in being able to identify what you want to learn and saying that I want to draw a dragon, and drawing this dragon, I want to learn how to light scales better, then you already know that lighting is going to be important, and you want to have some kind of cool lighting, or you want to have to learn how to draw fire effect. If you kind of get that, these little things can already help you decide how to build your picture. And when we're looking at this blank canvas, to me now, when I have these ideas and I'm discussing these things, it's making it a lot easier for me to start drawing as opposed to I'm going to draw a dragon, or I'm going to draw a dude, or I'm going to draw a fighter. When you develop it, it helps you get started. Now, second point, I'm just going to touch this quickly, and this is why do some people not need to plan? And we've all seen them, we all go on YouTube, there's some guy or girl or whoever, and they tell a YouTube video and they just take a blank page like this, toss some pink on it or whatever, start painting, and within an hour they have this ridiculous piece and there was no sketching, no plan, just started. And then in your head you go like, well, this is what I need to do. This is how I get good. This is the thing that identifies a good artist is just being able to open a blank piece of painting, a paper or a blank canvas in Photoshop and draw anything on it in no time at all without lines of sketching. Who wants to do line work? I don't want to do line work. It's boring. Now, the thing you need to understand, and obviously this is my opinion, I don't know these people myself. I wish I could do that. I can't in most cases. Um, is that the things that these people draw are mostly things that when they do that kind of thing, and I'm sure if you ask them, a lot of them will say the same, it's things they're very, very comfortable drawing. These are people who have drawn 8 hours a day, they're drawing for a living for many, many years, and they're drawing the things they're comfortable drawing. Now, if you take a person who's drawn 500 warrior dudes, and you tell him to draw a warrior dude without any planning, he's going to draw an amazing warrior dude. Not because it's not planned it or he doesn't need to plan it. Yeah, the one he's drawing, he's maybe never thought about it before. It's just a new character, he's drawing it. However, he's drawn 500 of those guys. And in drawing those 500, he has 500 separate characters to pick from. He has 500 different ideas of vegan dragons or like all these things. And he can put all these little ideas that he's done before and has them in. So it's not that you get so good you don't need to plan because that's never really going to happen. It's that you get so good and you've done something so many times that the previous times you've done it are adequate planning for doing it now. Now, I'm sure there are exceptions to this, but I'm certain that a lot of these people, if you ask them to draw something that's outside their comfort zone, that's something that they've never drawn before or haven't drawn for a very long time, you will see their process change and they'll be more cautious and work in that. So if you see this, you shouldn't remove the planning stage from your concept and from your work just because the people you aspire to be and the people who are as good as you want to be don't plan. There is a reason they don't plan, and the reason is practically never that you don't need to. And I just want to put that for any new artists, for people who feel that like it's a pressure to not need to plan or anything like that. The people doing that know the subject of drawing very, very well. If someone comes up with a masterpiece drawing with no planning, no work, no conscious start on it, chances are they know how to draw that thing really, really well. Whether it's a warrior, it's a dragon, it's a robot, whatever. If you go through the portfolio, you are going to see that kind of subject many times in the past having been drawn. Now, let's go on to what we are doing, and I'm going to try and keep this short. So for this video, as I said in the previous video, we are going to have a brief, and that's why this is blank. I'm going to put a brief up here. And we have this little brief that I've created for myself. So you got, and we'll be running through this over the course of this series, or end series one, as I will call it, once this brief is completed, where that takes me a month or 3 months or a year, I'm not sure, but that is the goal. So we'll be creating 3 characters with accessories. So 2 of the accessories with big vehicles. My point of doing this is to draw vehicles and specifically vehicles interacting with organic characters, which is something I'm not particularly strong in. I want to learn. If you want to follow along, you can follow my brief or you can create your own. I would suggest a similar layout for it. However, you can do whatever you want in terms of that, but work on a brief, and on this step here, I would follow that exactly. Um, and then, like I said, so the next step, we've got all these characters that we're making. We're going to do for each of them, and this is, we'll start on one, finish that, then go on the next one. We'll do a mood board, which will be the next video I do. Will be 20 post thumbnail sketches. I might do 25, I might do 19. We'll see on the character. And it's very important to me that they are posed. They're not just I draw a quick silhouette, I draw a quick little silhouette, and then just put a different outfit on that 20 times. No, I want to have a different pose for each to convey different attitudes and different characteristics of the characters. You then have three variations of those poses that will bring to high finish, so like a flat color with high quality line art, or cell shaded, that kind of thing as well. And then a final character portrait, which is more about displaying the attitude of the character and less of the actual concept for 3D modeling. Once we got that for all the 5 characters, we're going to do 5 scenes containing the above 5 characters in different ways. And what we're starting on one character. Her name is Senna. She's a Machinelord. As you can see by the brief here, I've kept this very, very short and quick in terms of everything. And the reason for that is that this has given me a lot of keywords to pick from to start the character off, and they all have to do with things that will be displayed in the scenes and on the character. So she's young, tattooed, and unkempt. That's things that you can immediately see. She's scrappy, she's brutal and vicious. And the character is going to be fighting in some of the scenes. Those are things that will be seen in the pictures. She enjoys what she does. She loves fighting. Again, she's a Machinelord. She's building her machine. A scene is going to contain that. And she loves fighting. A scene will contain that. She doesn't like collateral damage. Again, that limits my design for her machine that she'll be riding around in terms of what kind of weaponry it can have. And she fights in the sky, so she needs some way to fly and that kind of thing. So I've kept it very short. I kept everything to things that are quick and easy to see in a picture or in the scenes I'll be making. I didn't put any backstory in. I might add backstory elements as I develop the character in my different thumbnails and concept. I might have different elements of her design that allure to a backstory, but they are not important at this point because they would limit me, because then I would have to do every single concept with the same thing. And if you're doing your own brief, okay, like I said, you can follow mine, you can make your own. That's up to you. I would suggest keeping the character descriptions very short and very much to the bold, big looks of how they appear and to what they act like and their attitude and things you can see specifically, because anything else it's a waste of time for you to make, and it will limit the ability you have to push the character further later on once we start working on it. The full brief will be posted in the description for this video. If you want to follow along, feel free to do so, like I've said. Next video will be coming out. We will start doing thumbnailing for Senna. Sorry, we'll be doing mood boarding for Senna. We'll do a mood board for that. I'll walk you through how to make a mood board, how I think about it, what I do, and all that. As well as some other philosophies, why I pick the pictures I do, and what I look for when I do mood boarding. And that's it. If you're enjoying the series so far, please like and subscribe. Comment downstairs if there's down below if there's anything you're uncertain of, you need help with, that I'm not explaining properly, or you have any questions. And I'll see you next time.